view back to this map of consciousness so that we can see how the energy fields here relate to the way we experience the world. You see, mind is so powerful that the way it holds your experience literally determines your experience. Fearfulness creates a certain view of the world, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. In psychoanalysis, psychiatry, it's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. And recent university research, as well as our own research in Sedona, shows that what you hold in mind tends to make it happen within what you think is the world. The world of your own experience, then, becomes the external representation, actually, of what you have been holding in mind. So that your life, the world, is really a world of mirrors. What you're actually seeing, what you're actually experiencing, is a projection of your own level of consciousness. This is hard to believe and hard to really fully grasp, but to give us a glimpse at it, it's a whole field of study in itself. On this map of consciousness, let's compare the level of consciousness with its emotion and our view of the world, and how this would give us a view of God if we believed in such an entity or not. We said at the very bottom we have a negative energy field called guilt, which calibrates with a power of 30. The world of self-hatred, one of self-destruction. And a person who is guilt-ridden, we all know how they see the world, that this is a world of sin and suffering. Sin and suffering. Sin and suffering, then, gives you what kind of a concept of what kind of a God could rule over a world of endless suffering and endless sin. The consequences of sin in the consciousness field, the collective consciousness, would be that God becomes your ultimate destroyer. God has created a world of sin and suffering in which you are destroyed and your soul is thrown into hell forever. And that's the worst possible scenario. As your consciousness raises and you reach an energy field of 50, the energy field of hopelessness, the one of loss of energy, the world is seen as a relatively hopeless place. This world and life in it is hopeless. And so we have some of the famous existentialists, that said that man is nothing, God is dead. And so with the view coming out of this is a hopeless world, the view of God from that level of consciousness then is that God is dead. God is dead. If we raise our level of consciousness and advance in our awareness, we then move up to the level of grief. Grief, again, a negative view of the world, of ourselves. The emotions of that would be regret, loss, feeling of despondency, dispirited. A person into grief, holding that energy field, sees this as a sad world. As they walk down the street, a person holding this energy field sees sad, just as this person sees hopeless. He walks down the city street, he sees the hopelessness of mankind's conditions. This one sees the sadness. When this person looks at older people, they see how sad it is. How sad it is that they are old. When they look at children, they think how sad it is what these poor innocent children are going to have to experience in life. When they open the newspaper, they see the sadness of all that goes on in the world. And what kind of a God would fit that sadness? A God who ignores you. Out of this, the person is worthless. So the person says, I am just a worm, and God couldn't possibly have any interest in me. If he exists at all, he would just be a God who ignores you. What about the fearful person who holds this energy field of fear? We see that we are the creator now of that. We are the owner. We are the source. The emotions of worry, anxiety, and panic. The deflation of self-esteem. And to them, this is a frightening world. As they walk down the street, they see danger everywhere. These people see danger everywhere. They open the newspaper. It's alarming. Bankruptcy, murder. They walk down the street. They see automobile accidents, potential for starvation. Who would be the God of a frightening field of consciousness? A very punitive one, who really sort of hates you and throws you into a nightmare. So this world is an endless nightmare The creator of such a nightmare is a very punitive God. Because of revenge, because of retaliation, we'll move up into retaliation, he becomes the punisher. As we move up into desire, the solar plexus, craving, what makes Sammy run, wantingness. There's no satisfying that, is there? No matter what the person gets, it's not enough. This is the millionaire. He's got 50 million, he's going for 60. He's got 60, he's going for 70. He never gets to the end. There's no end to the road. And when he's old and his fingernails are long and he's paranoid and he lives on a yacht and he's paranoid, he thinks that the world is against him. He can't understand why he can't find happiness. We said happiness is up here at 500. More and more, gettingness in the world, wanting, craving, by which the person is trapped, is frustrating. So here is a frustrating world. If you're always wanting, then the world is always holding back from you. As you look in the department store windows, that cravingness comes out. You want those jewels, you want the want. If you get them, what will you feel? You'll feel a satisfaction. You won't feel happiness because that's at 500, but you'll feel a satisfaction temporarily, and you feel separated from God. What kind of a God is it that withholds from you that which you desire? So you see yourself as separated from God, if there is a God at all. There's me and there's God, but the two of us have no relationship. The frustration of this frustrating world of desire leads to anger, resentment, hatred, grievance, war, murder. The expansion, the overexpansion of the angry person, the standing out of the blood vessels, the angry animal flares up with anger. The angry person sees this as a competitive world. When somebody opens up another used car lot next to him, he's angry. He thinks that this person's going to take his business away. See, he hasn't moved up to a world of cooperation, which knows that the more used car lots near you, the greater the business, because it draws people from everywhere. So he wouldn't think of cooperating. Instead, he thinks of competition. So he's polarized. It's me against them, you see? And therefore, he sees a competitive world and a retaliatory God who, out of angriness, is very punishing. This is the angry God that will punish you, and retaliate against you, and seek revenge. I am a jealous, vengeful God who will get you. I'm out to get you. So God is somebody who is your enemy. He's out to get you. You see? Out to get you.
Here is how imposter syndrome makes high IQ men never finish what they start. You buy the course.
How can you relax and reach any? Then we see what happens is the energy field now is turning to the right. It's actually at neutral, turning to the right. We see it jump to 200. Now we see for the first time appropriateness. The person is able to face, to cope, to handle. They become empowered. It isn't the money, it's the status that the money gives them. What comes out of pridefulness? What kind of a God can you see out of pridefulness? Well, you've probably got two options. You can, because of denial and because of the intellectual arrogance, you can say that my left brain intellect denies that there is a God, and that's atheism. Or you can say my position is the right one and everybody else is therefore wrong, and you end up with bigotry. This is the source of all the religious wars. My view of religion is right, therefore yours must be wrong. So pridefulness leads us into a polarized position of me right, you wrong. This is the world of win-lose. The anxiety that goes with win-lose, so the person in pride is defensive because he lives in a world of win-lose. As we move up to courage then, we see what happens is the energy field now is turning to the right. It's actually at neutral, turning to the right. We see it jump to 200. Now we see for the first time appropriateness. The person is able to face, to cope, to handle. They become empowered because they have begun to tell the truth about themselves. The person from the level of courage walks down the same street, and what does he see? He sees a challenging, exciting world of opportunity. What a thrilling world of growing, of learning, of expanding, of watching others grow. The inner joy that comes from expanding your own space. Courage is what settled the United States of America. It settled the West. It creates all the industrial empires. It creates all our scientific enterprise. It's what got us to the moon. The world of exciting opportunity, of growth and expansion. What kind of a God is the God of that level of consciousness? And the person at that level of consciousness for the first time has an open mind. He doesn't come from, I got the answers. He doesn't come from vengeful negativity. He says, for the first time, I wonder if there is such a being. I wonder if there is something greater than the personal self. I'm open to learn about this. He then treats the God question the same as he does the world question, an exciting world of exploration. And let me tell you, spiritual research is extremely exciting, the things that you discover. As we move up to the next energy field then, courage has resulted in being unattached. This person says, it's okay if I get the job, it's okay if I don't. He's released. He's not run by the world. His power greatly increases because now he's no longer victim. You can't control him now anymore. He says, if I get the job, great. If I don't, I'll just find another job. If this person stays in my life, great. If they don't, I'll find somebody else to be with. They're no longer living in fear. They've moved up to a certain okayness. So the view of the world is the view is now okay. And what kind of a God would be the God of an okay world? It would be a God of freedom then. A God of freedom to expand, to explore. If there is such a God, if there is a God, it's okay with me. And if there isn't okay with me, there's sort of an inner sense of fairness about. If there is a God, he'll be fair, and I'll learn about it when the time comes. And if there isn't, that's okay with me too. As we move up to willingness now, for the first time, see, this person said okay either way, but this person now at willingness declares an intention. He begins to say yes to life. I join, I align myself, I agree with things, you see. This person waits on your table. It's okay if he waits on you. It's okay if he doesn't. This person begins to experience a willingness to be of service, a certain happiness, and this person views the world as friendly. When you're willing, the world is friendly. Now you walk down the street, you see all the friendly people, potentially friendly. All you have to do is walk up to an old lady and say, hi, what a beautiful day. She goes, hey, nobody's talked to me all morning. Isn't that nice? The world is a friendly place, and God becomes perhaps a promising and hopeful concept. The God of a friendly world would become a friendly God. Even if you don't believe in him, you begin to trust him. If you don't have a belief in God, at least the friendly person says, well, if there is one, he'll be at least as kindly as my grandmother. He'll be, he's going to be a positive pop kind of a guy, He's going to understand human nature. He's not going to throw me into the pit fires of hell for being human. He created me as human. I am his handiwork. What is he going to do? Condemn his own self? So therefore, God, certain trust in a God, if there is such a thing. As we move up to acceptance, what's happening in acceptance is you begin to own yourself as the source of your own power. You are the creator of the happiness in your own life now. And that transformation in consciousness brings a feeling of adequacy and confidence, and life, the view of the world now is harmonious. As you walk down the street, you see the subtle, beautiful naturalness of how everything interacts. That everything is really where it should be, that everybody is wanting to be what they are. The bag lady is there because she wants to be a bag lady. Nobody's forced her to be that. She's chosen to be that which she is. We stop blaming things and we begin to experience that the world is expressing the harmony of the degree to which we are willing to own the truth about ourselves and how that expresses it. And that the whole movie is harmonious, and God now begins to look as merciful, forgiving, a forgiving God of a harmonious world. As we move up into our willingness then to be of service to this world, our lovingness, our energy field jumps to 500, a very powerful level. Because this is unconditional love in which we begin to nurture, support life. We are willing to forgive it. A beginning revelation occurs because of the release of these endorphins. We begin to see the lovingness that is everywhere. We see the lovingness in nature, the lovingness of the animal world. We see the natural lovingness of the child within everybody. The loving heart of the child is still alive in everyone. If you don't experience it, it's because you don't know how to tune into it. But I tell you, the innocent, loving heart of the child is in everyone. It can be appealed to. That's why the merciless killer in the presence of a loving person becomes harmless. In the presence of the fearful person who creates the space for him to attack, he attacks. This loving person then experiences a safe world, and God must, of necessity, be of at least as high a level of consciousness as you are, and therefore unconditional.
If your belly is the reason why you are hiding in pictures, do these 4 Tai Chi exercises daily for 2
loving. The experience of the truth of this brings you into a joyfulness. And then experiences a safe world, and God must, of necessity, be of at least as high a level of consciousness as you are, and therefore unconditionally loving. The experience of the truth of this brings you into a joyfulness. Joyfulness brings about a transfiguration in consciousness. It brings you into compassion, the inner serenity of the compassionate person who begins to see the perfection of creation. The perfection of creation, that this unconditional love of the Creator creates a oneness. You begin to experience a oneness of all beings. Therefore, all of life in all its expressions are sacred. Beginning awareness of the sacredness of life and merging into an illuminated, enlightened state, into a blissfulness, into a feeling of infinite peace, in which the total oneness of creation brings an awareness of God as the essence of beingness itself. As I stood on top of this mountain in the presence of the rattlesnake, what was it that transfixed both of us into a state of infinite peace, into a state of oneness? I couldn't really say in that state that the aliveness, the life of the snake and the life of myself were 2 different lives. It's as though there was one. The 2 were being controlled by the nature of the one. That which brought what seemed to be the 2 of us together as one experience. There was really only one experience going on. The one experience was being experienced, you might say, through the 2. The 2 experiencing their oneness. No thought of attack, therefore, arose, because the energy field of that experience had already risen up here. The feeling of infinite peace. It's called by many peace of God. It's called by psychologists, perhaps, peak experience, Maslow's term for peak experience. Meaning one has transcended all these levels, you see, and experienced the truth of their beingness. There are certain teachings that say there are only 2 emotions at all. There is love and there is fear. And that all these negative feelings from love on down are nothing but the variations of fear. And it certainly can be looked at that way. You can see all of these as expressions of fear. Fear of moral wrong, fear of the inability to survive and exist, a fear over the loss of the source of one's happiness, fear that one won't get, anger over the intrinsic fear that not getting brings to the person. So we could say that they are all forms of fear. There really are 2 expressions only. That which is love, which starts here and becomes infinite in its expression, and that which is fearful and begins here and goes ever downward in its expression. Therefore, the handling of all the negative feelings arises out of the willingness to accept that we have the power within us to handle this inner fearfulness, and to be recognized that we are the source of it, to stop projecting it onto the world or onto God. No one created a fearful world. There is no such thing. The fearful world is within us. We carry it with us. And thus we can let it go. We can let the fear of the fear go. We can let the fear itself go and move into the presence of love itself.